Scraptember. This is such a fun series that happens every September. It's put on by the Scrappy sisters, and Laura Alberts and Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life is joining them this year. And basically, every day there is a prompt. Sometimes it's a color prompt, or it could just be a product prompt, or in the case of today, it's a sketch. So the sketch I showed you at the beginning, and it was created by Katie from the Scrappy sisters. And yeah, basically you just follow along all month long. And there's tons and tons of people who participate. There's one big long playlist. So you can just click that link. I'll leave it for you down below and start with day one if you want. And just follow all the way through. Everyone who is creating content for the series will upload their videos to that playlist. So easy peasy, and tons and tons and tons of layouts. And of course, when you have a series like this that is sort of prompt based, you really get a full spectrum of ideas and interpretations of those prompts. So it's definitely a lot of fun. So I'm working through my travel albums, and my kit for How to Kill a Kit with Style for August and September is mostly made up of travel papers and my travel ephemera and things like that. So that is what I'm doing for this layout. I didn't have 4 photos, so what I decided to do was use 2 4x6 photos, and then I'm gonna add something to the top and the bottom of those photos to kind of make it look a little bit more like the grid. Now, I wanted it to kind of be wonky and have them all slightly skewed the way that Katie designed it, but I didn't like the way that those Project Life cards were sort of sitting, and there was a weird gap, especially with the green one. So I'm just going to make everything nice and straight. I'll use this red paper from Fancy Pants. That's just that little 6x6 pad I've sort of been working away at. I chose the red because there's lots of red in the sign behind the kids, as well as the giant lobster that the boys are standing in front of. So I thought the red just worked really well. All the cards, the background paper, and basically, I'm trying to think. I think all of the ephemera, that all comes from the Out and About collection from Pink Fresh Studio. I've been working at this one for quite a while, so I've whittled it down to only a few things left over, some cardstock stickers, a few puffy stickers, and I do have a few pieces of full paper left, but a lot of scraps as well. I chose the gray paper though because in the sketch, the way that Katie created it, it looks like there is maybe some mixed media in the background, some splatters or something along those lines, but kind of on the whole background. And so I thought that this paper, the way that the pattern is, just sort of represented that for me. So it looks like there is a pattern on the entire background of this paper, but it's subtle, so it doesn't really pop out and compete with anything that I'm putting on top of it. So I thought that worked really well. And then there you can see how I kind of use that red paper to back the cards. Those cards actually come from the cut apart sheet, but I liked that they sort of now, I don't know, they feel like they fit a bit better and there's no weird trapped space. So, and then I used, sorry if my voice sounds weird, my kids have strep throat, and, yay for back to school, strep throat. And I'm pretty sure that if I don't have it, I at least definitely have a head cold. And we also are getting all the smoke from the BC fires, and I'm allergic to smoke, so it's really hit me hard, and my throat is hurting, and all that fun stuff. So I apologize that I sound off in this voiceover. But to kind of complete those little embellishment clusters, I cut 4 little circles from the back of this paper that's sort of red with that geometric shape on it. I used that in an earlier layout and I just kept the little scraps of it because I knew there were a couple of other circles that I could probably cut out. And then this chunk right there you could see had quite a lot of potential left over. So I decided to keep it. And then I kind of liked the red. I felt I might as well continue with that as the main sort of color that pops out. And so to add a little bit of interest, I decided to do this little ripping technique. I haven't done it in a while, so I thought it might be fun to go ahead and do it. And I was experimenting and trying something a little bit different. So I kind of ripped up at the top and ripped down at the bottom, and then I'm ripping this corner. So definitely not symmetrical in any way, but I think it kind of brought back some of that interest and that movement that I took away when I made my grid line up and be nice and straight and square rather than just, tilted and twisted a little bit like Katie had designed. So I think it works. It works for me. And yeah, I kind of like the little sections that are popping out. They just have a little peak of a different color and a different pattern. And then I knew I wasn't probably going to have these beautiful big embellishment clusters in the two corners the way that Katie has with the flowers. So I think that the torn edges gives a little extra interest. So yeah. It worked for me. And so you can see that my little cluster is the two circles that I cut out, and then a puffy sticker, and then little puffy stars. Those are from Freckled Fawn. And that's it really. I don't add anything else. I kind of left them just nice and simple. And then yeah, the whole thing I actually left kind of simple. I feel like it has a lot of little details, especially in the background paper and in those little torn edges and stuff like that. But also it's just kind of really simple and clean. So I really like how it turned out. I did want to put a title, and because of the way that the pictures are, I didn't think that a title right through the center going horizontal was going to work. Unless, of course, I use smaller alphas, but I felt like it might actually get lost and kind of blend in if I was using smaller alphas right over top of those photos. So I went through my stash and I found these, what are they? They're kind of almost like a marquee type chipboard thicker, and the letters are in a very, very close, not quite as dark as the red paper I've been using, but very, very close to it. And so I thought that worked out really well. So I just went vertical and put PEI and put two little, I don't know what they're called. The brackets, the straight brackets, I guess. I put two at the top and two at the bottom. And that is it for my title, because this goes into a full album with lots of other PEI related layouts and pocket pages and stuff. So I don't really need to have big titles that kind of announce what every page is about. So I just wanted to have something there and kind of represent what was on the sketch. So that was pretty easy. I don't feel like it competes overly for the attention from anything else on the layout. And then because Katie's background did feel like it had splatters, I definitely wanted to add some splatters. So I have that, I think it's called cherry red. So not like a bright Christmas red. It's a little more kind of, well, it's like a cherry red. I don't know how else to describe it. My words are not working today, but it's just like a candy red. Maybe that's the right way to describe it. So I splattered a little bit of that, and I think it matches really well too. And then a little bit of gold, just because the stars that I used sort of have an almost kind of gold metallic feel to them. So I decided to go with a little bit of gold. So I got my splatters in there. And then I did my sketchy border. I felt like it just needed a little something extra just to ground it. And so I went ahead and did my sketchy border on all of the paper. So the background paper, the red paper in the torn edges, the red paper in the grid, and also the cards that I used. And then my finishing touch is some green sequins from Spiegel Mom Scraps. And that is it. That is my first layout for Scraptember. There are 5 days of amazing layouts and projects already on the playlist, so definitely go and check it out. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can leave them for me down below. I love to chat with you. Please click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I have so many new members. Welcome and thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And that's it for me today. So until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.
Bye. Thanks to me. She button. Tell my channel.